Hello everyone, how are you doing? I just want to check and see, make sure everybody's doing alright. We're doing good here. Everybody's staying home and hiding, much lot like the rest of the country and the world. This is something we can share with the whole world. There's no difference except we have, and I'm sorry if I'm about to offend anybody, but if we had any kind of leadership up in the White House, it would be a lot easier and a lot more comfortable, and we could rest a little easier. But whether you're pro or anti, it doesn't matter. The fact is that somebody has not read their Constitution and is trying to take control of states when states have more rights than the federal government does, and then they have to backstep and try to make it look like, oh no, I just want the states to do what they want to do. This crap has to stop. And I'm tired of being cooped up and like everybody else, and I'm on edge like everybody else, and sometimes I just have to share what I think. I'm sorry, because I try not to be political on here, but I have to be this time because I feel like I just don't have any choice, because this is just too much. It is too much to keep in and hide. There is too much lying going on, not being straight, not wanting to listen to professionals, not believing scientists, not believing doctors, worrying about yourself before others, and that is not what a leader does. A leader listens to what's going on, listens to other countries and what they've done to deal with viruses that is going through the world. Listens to their doctors that is in their employment, and the professionals and the scientists that study this stuff all the time. You don't fire the pandemic team 2 months before it hits. You get them back if you do, and get them back in here, and don't fill that little club with your kids and people from your neck of the woods. We should not be supporting corporations. We should be supporting our people. All this preaching about making America first, we are not first. The corporations are first. And any kind of deals that can be made overseas is first. Right now, do you really believe that our first responders and our hospital staff and our delivery people and all those people that have to work, from the fast food window all the way to intensive care, should not have to come up with their own equipment to protect themselves, that there's not enough equipment for them to be protected? This makes no sense. I've been able to get a hold of stuff, and I've donated it to first responders, and I've donated some to the hospital, and I may just go around and start handing them out at drive-thrus if I have to, or to the delivery man that comes to the house, or the mail lady that comes to the house every day. That's not leadership. And now wanting just to open the country in order to save the epidemic or save the economy is asinine. Because we open up and everybody gets out and people start congregating together like nothing has happened, the numbers are going to go back up. We went from 17 to 20 in a day in our county alone. But that's only the people who have been tested. The only people they test, they won't test anybody unless they're first responders or they work for the medical company. Nobody else can be tested. Nobody. And so, how do they know how many people have it? If you get 20 people that have it, they've spread it to other people because we don't know where they came from. What if they're working in the fast food and it's all over the food? What if they're working in the hospital and they're spreading it to the family members, getting it from there? What if it's a mail person that was been delivering your mail? We don't know. And I'm not saying that they need to tell us who the people are. What I'm saying is we need to stop acting like we know everything and start listening to the people that do know stuff. The only people that are smart are people that don't think they're smart. The true measure of being wise is to understand that you don't know everything. If you know everything, you're a teenager, for one. Because teenagers know everything. But second, if you know everything, then there's what you don't know is a lot. And I was told long ago when I was getting ready to teach and I was asked if I was ready. I said, no, I'm not. I don't know enough yet to start teaching. And I was told by this professional, said, well, then you're ready to go, because if you thought you knew everything, you wouldn't be ready. As long as you know that there's still more to learn, you're ready. And so, even in my house, that's a rule. You have to learn something new to go to bed every day. Because you have to keep learning. You always keep learning. And we have people in charge that seem to think that they know everything. The sun sets and rises and sets on them, and that is not the case. And I know there's a lot of people that are die-hard redheads hats. I'm sorry, I'm not. And the fun little comments on Facebook are, what are you going to do with your check if you don't like Trump? You going to send it back? Well, my question is, if you don't like socialism, why are you cashing it? It's government money for the government people. It is not coming out of Trump's pocket. He's not writing the checks, even though he wants his name to appear on them. He's not writing the checks. It's not coming from his bank account. It's coming from the taxes we pay. This didn't come from nowhere. And I'm just kind of fed up. And I know that on this channel, y'all want to just hear if we make it through the day. And yesterday, I didn't think I was going to. I had such a wild day. My medicine's been all messed up. Finally got it straightened out. Got it worked out with the caregiver that she reminds me every morning and every night to take my medicine. I've been doing good the last few days because we've done that. We got to work on a few more things to get me going. Can't tell, but I do think I'm going downhill a little bit. But we're not going to blame my dementia on my beliefs about politics. And I hate to throw it all out there because I know there's a lot of you that think that I'm status quo, and I'm not, because the things you send me you think that I would like are not things that I believe. I think that I really think that the Republicans and the corporate Democrats are the same party, because it's all to the right. Bernie Sanders was not even close. He's not even close to being as far left as Franklin Roosevelt was after the Depression. And now it looks like we're going into another depression. We need We need another Franklin Roosevelt. And instead, we're not getting one. It doesn't matter who gets elected. We're not getting one. And I fear that we will not come out as well at the end of this as we did with him. My parents' first house that they bought, they rented it to buy, and the man that owned it, we had brick roads, and we had a brick road in front of our house, and he said that during the Depression he was paid to go and turn the bricks over. Take a brick out, turn it over. Take a brick out, turn it over, put it back. Take a brick out, turn it over, put it back. And he did that all day. And that was part of the Getting Back to Work program from Roosevelt. And I don't see that happening with anybody. I don't see that happening with Biden, and I definitely don't see that happening with Trump. And, I feel that he's done enough damage in the last 4 years that next year, if he gets reelected, there'll be nothing to stop him. And he'll become a full-fledged fascist. And I know many of you don't believe that he is, but he is. He says one thing and then tries to wiggle his way out. When he got into that argument with the woman from CNN, when she asked him, he talked about stopping the planes coming from China in January, and then that whole slideshow or video that he had, campaign video that he showed the reporters that should just stop going to the daily meetings. I think don't give them an audience. They have everything in that video is dated March. And so she kept asking about February. And when she kept pressing it, he didn't have an answer. So instead of answering it, he turned around and started insulting her. Well, that's a childish move. You either answer the question or say, I'll get back to you after I check out, get the list done. But you don't start cutting people down because they're beating you. And all she was saying is, what did you do in February? Well, he spent February doing rallies and telling people that this was a hoax by the Democrats, that the Democrats was just trying to scare everybody, that it wasn't real, that it would disappear by April, that once the weather got warm, it wouldn't be around anymore, and just full of crap. The whole thing was full of crap. And so here we are with thousands dead, and I know thousands die every day, but they're still dying. And it's getting to where I know people that's got it and people that's dying, and it's a little bit too close for comfort. It's not right. And the people can't bury their people when they die because they can't embalm COVID patients. And so the only thing they can do, and you can't have funerals because there's too many people for a funeral. So they don't get funerals. So the only thing anybody can even do, if they want to do anything, is have cremation and wait until this thing's over with to have a memorial service. And, it's taken all these options away from people. And I know I don't blame, that's just a fact of life. It's just the way it is. But the thing is, we either all pout and run outside and march on the government and tell them that we wanted to open everything up, that this is against our rights. I don't know what rights against. Somebody thinks it's against their First Amendment rights, but you have to explain to me the First Amendment rights again, because I don't know anywhere where it says when you're being quarantined because of a pandemic that some businesses have to stay closed and you need to stay home and stay distance away. That has nothing to do with your First Amendment rights. That has to do with keeping your butt safe and keeping everybody else safe, because it's not all about one person, it's about everybody. And this whole thing is about watching yourself and taking care of yourself so that you don't infect other people. You stay away. You stay in your house so you don't go out and affect other people. What if you have it and you don't know it because you're asymptomatic, and then you go out and you get and give it to somebody? How would you feel if you were the one that caused somebody to die because you were carrying it and you couldn't keep yourself in the house because it was against your rights? Nobody can tell me I have to stay home. And that attitude's going to get you nowhere with me. That just sounds like a spoiled little brat. Sounds like a kid. And apparently we have a country full of kids, because that thing that happened up in Michigan a couple of days ago was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. If you really want to know my opinion of it, it was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. The people that organized the protest were told to stay in cars. Well, the smart ones did, except they blocked all the entrances to the hospital. There was no roads that were open to the hospital. So then nobody could get to the hospital for treatments. What if one of their kids got hit by a car? What if one of their family members had a heart attack and couldn't get to the hospital because they blocked all the hospital routes? That was asinine. That was stupid. And then the ones that were so cocky that got up and marched on the steps of the Capitol building, and then sat down, had a sit-in with your picket signs all sitting next to each other and getting interviewed and saying stupid stuff like, well, I've had a quadruple bypass surgery and I have this wrong with me, but I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about getting it. It's no worse than the flu. Well, yes, people die of the flu, but not in 2 days and not at the rate that this. Thing is, we have flu vaccines. The swine flu, everybody wants to say, well, what did Obama do for swine flu or H1N1, which is the same thing? He made sure everybody got vaccinated that wanted to get vaccinated. It wasn't mandatory like this vaccination they're coming up with now, but they're going to make it mandatory. Now, that's where I stand in line. Nobody mandatories me nothing. And I'll get it just so that I don't infect other people. But my point is, I remember the boys were little. 2 of them weren't even in school yet. And we had to go into our high school gym, and they put the kids on one side and they squirted this stuff up their nose, and then the adults went on the other side and got shots. They brought them into schools. Now, we didn't do it during the school day. I remember going back in the evening because I had all 3 of my kids, and they all got the vaccination. I got the vaccination, and there were all kinds of people in there. So that didn't go crazy because people were vaccinated. Now, I don't know how he kept the Ebola virus from going around, but he did have a team of pandemic experts that took care of that, and apparently they did a good job because Ebola didn't come sweeping through the nation, right? But this is coming through the nation, and Trump just disbanded the pandemic team several months before we get one. In what world? Explain to me, because I don't understand. I want somebody to explain it to me. In what world is that smart? In what world is that okay? In what world do we blindly follow somebody? Not in the USA, not in the United States of America. We do not follow fascist. And if you are a red hatter and you think that He is the best thing since sliced bread, and he is to be worshipped because God put him there. You're worshiping the wrong God to start with, because Jesus said, what you do for the least you do for me. He didn't say, cut off all the aid to the least of me. He didn't say, ignore the widows and the orphans. Have them pull themselves up by the bootstraps. So don't start crying Christian to me if you're following Trump. I have seen nothing in him that shows the following of Jesus. So if you can give me an example of how he followed Jesus, I would love to hear it, because I don't see it. I see a bunch of evangelicals, radicals, giving Christianity a bad name and going to chase more people away from Christianity than bring them to Christianity. Because if I wasn't already a Christian, if all I heard was what a Christian Trump was, and how God put him there because he's such a great man and such a great leader, I don't know that I'd want to be part of that mess. And I didn't start to come on here to get on a rant, but for some reason, my heart took me there. And I just really felt the need to say it. This is not a normal video. I will go back to regular videos. I'm just kind of fed up today. There's just last couple days, Indiana has a governor that seems to actually have his head on his shoulders and actually wants to put the people first, apparently, because he's not in a rush to send everybody back to work and get these germs all going again. He's just kind of holding everybody back, and this is a red state, and so there's a lot of people giving him a hard time, and he's a Republican, giving him a hard time about letting them save the economy. And some of these representatives, one from Indiana, and I don't know if he's a state representative or who he was because I didn't recognize the name, and there's one out of Texas that made comments that people should be willing to give their lives up to save the economy. No. If you're in the service, you're to save the Constitution, to protect the people of your country, to protect, your job is to protect the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, our way of life. It is not to throw ourselves on the sword to save the corporations. And I'm offended by those comments. Because the people that are going to die are the elderly and people with underlying medical conditions. Even some healthy people have died from it. One guy that died was only 63 and had absolutely no underlying health problems. He was healthy and still working. Got it. Died within 3 days. So I want those mouths that say the crap like that. You be the first ones to go out there and do that. You give up your life first, and then I'll think about giving up mine. But I'm not going to follow my sword so that McDonald's can stay in business, or so that you know, the Hoosier Tires who have it, but it's nothing against Hoosier Tire. So that Hoosier Tire can get back to work and get the economy going back. Because I would rather, we're already at over 40% unemployment, and at the Great Depression it was 24%. Okay, so we're already down there. Let's not screw it up by killing everybody off. Because what will that do to the economy? If there's no people to work, and you can't, and we're spending all our money burying people, we're not going to have money to spend on the luxuries that we would have to spend the luxuries on to save the economy. We save the economy with having I forget what it's called, but when you disposable income, they came up with the $1,200 for the stimulus, because that's how much minimum wage makes in a month. Now, if you have kids or you have a rent, even if you don't, how are you supposed to live on that kind of money? You got $1,200 a month. You got rent that's probably $800. So that leaves you what, $400 to get through the rest of the month, to pay the electric bill and the gas bill, to pay for your transportation to get to and from work, and to pay for food. Now, where are these people supposed to save money? Now, heaven forbid they have any kids. But where are these people supposed to save money? I had even a cousin that posted that, why didn't these people save money? Why did they need stimulus money? Because some people don't have 10% to save. That's why. The minimum wage has not changed in decades, and it's time to go up. It needs to go up every time there's like 3% every year, at least, like everything else. The cost of living is 3% every year as an average. So why doesn't minimum wage go up 3% every year? There is no reason for them to still be making a little over $7 an hour. They can't survive on that. Now, in some communities, they probably could, but not in most. And now they're out there working unprotected. It's just, I'm sad. I am heartbroken because I'm seeing what's happening. And part of me thinks, keep your mouth shut, because you're going to put this out there. And when they take over, and they probably will, I'll be the first one that they come pick up, because I got this on YouTube, so it's there. But you know what? I would rather give my life for saying what I think and trying to warn people, trying to make sense of this, saying no to what's going on, and that things have to change. And I'm saying no to what's going on. No. So if you want to take me away and you want to kill me for that, fine, I'll give my life for that. But I sure as hell I'm not giving my life so that the economy can be better. I'll give my life for my country. Believe me. And as this as this fire is starting and roaring and getting bigger and bigger. It's getting out of hand, and I'm afraid it's going to get too far to stop. And if we don't do it now, when? And if we don't do it, who? I mean, this is very serious. I know it doesn't have anything to do with dementia. It doesn't have anything to do with chronic illness. It doesn't have anything to do with living your life to the fullest and living your life with no regrets. But it does kind of have something to do with living your life with no regrets. I don't want to go to my grave regretting the fact that I never opened my mouth. So, I don't know that there'll ever be any other videos like this. I'm not sure I should post this one. But I was so moved to make it. I had no intention when I said hello, everybody. Had no intention to make this. And the words just started coming out and started coming to me. And I felt it needed to be said. And I felt that somebody's got to say it. And that somebody, I guess, has got to be me today. So, I imagine I'll be getting the hate comments. I imagine I'll be getting threats from this. I don't expect it from my regular people, but other people will happen upon this and not like it. But you know what? Truth hurts. So, if you want to tell me he's the best president we ever had, you go right ahead and tell me that. But you explain it to me, because I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it at all. It saddens me that my kids will never know what it was like before. Nothing has been right since the Patriot Act was passed in 2001 or 2002, but I think it's 2001. And it was renewed by Obama, which I was very disappointed in him with, and may not get over that with him. But the Patriot Act just out of fear, we handed over our rights. And we are getting ready to hand over even more. We're getting ready to ignore the Constitution and listen to some idiot that's never read it, has no idea what it's about, spout off how he's in total control. Well, guess what? We don't have a king here. We don't have an emperor here. We have a president that is 1/3 of the government. The Congress is another third, and the court and the judicial system is the other. We have the executive, the federal, and the judicial. There are 3 equal members of the government. And kids know this. I mean, it's on Schoolhouse Rock, for heaven's sakes. But apparently somebody forgot to tell Trump. And if I hear him tell me one more time that as president he can do whatever he wants, I may have to kick my TV. But better yet, I just don't listen to him, because it just isn't good for my temper. But I think we're in a world of hurt. I think we are in a lot of danger. And I think there's a whole lot of people that are blind to it. Because he doesn't do anything that's not helping himself. All these countries that he rubs elbows with, he wants to put hotels up. He's planning for his future. This is silly. And North Korea, they're all buddy-buddy. And he's over there shooting rockets. And nobody's talking about it. That was one of the deals they made. Don't be shooting rockets. Well, he's over there doing what he wants to. He's, Iran is now able to work on nuclear weapons. Well, congratulations. We just went back about 30, 40 years. So, no. And the environment has cleaned up so much since everybody has stopped. That people are seeing things, that nature's repairing itself, and people are seeing things they haven't been able to see for years. And maybe it takes something like this pandemic to make everybody realize that we have to take care of this world, or it's not going to be here. It is a matter of life and death, people. It's a matter of life and death. And this is a long rant, and it's not even a funny one. It's not one meant to be funny. It's one meant to be serious. And it's not okay. There is nothing about this that's okay. So, I'm going to upload this and say what you will. Give me a kick into the curb if you want. That's fine. I mean, this is more important. This is so important to me. I love all of you very much. You have been there when I've needed you. I couldn't ask for a better bunch to be supportive of me and get me through the hard times. But I needed to use my voice. I just really feel that this has to be said. And I really felt driven to say this tonight. And it is 1:20 in the morning on Saturday, the 18th. I started messing around with this on the 17th on Friday. We were supposed to be out of quarantine on Monday. Knew it wasn't going to happen. Extend it to May. Okay, no biggie. Except when I was watching it, people were complaining all the way up on Facebook about staying close till May 1st. Well, they need to be able to assure me that my kids are safe to get back outside before I'm going to play this game. And tell you what, all you that think you need to be out, go. And those of you that think you should mind the government, stay in. And then when it's all said and done, we'll see if the Darwin theory works. And we'll see who's left. And that's as blunt as I can put it. It's just I get a real bad Eric. It's just the way it is, and I want to say I'm sorry for wasting your time on this subject, but I'm not sorry. It need to be said, and I'll go back to being silly. I'll go back to being funny if I can. I don't think I'm funny, but go back to talking about the subject at hand. But right now, this is just very, very, very important. And thank you for listening. If you made it all this way, please put a purple heart so I know that you made it to the end. And know that I love you, no matter which side you fall on. I'm not intending to shame anybody. I love each and every one of you. I know a couple of people that watch these videos that have been wonderful about supporting me outside of the videos. And I also know that they're what I refer to as red hatters. And so I want you to know that I am not kicking at you. I believe most of you are smart enough to be able to get along. We need to get along with each other no matter where we stand politically. And I think you guys are smart enough to do that. I don't think some of the younger ones are smart enough to do that. But I think we are. I am a blue spot in a very red state. And so we'll see. We'll see what happens. But anyway, I'm going to let you go. Live life fullest, live life with no regrets. We'll see you next time. Bye.